my topic will be open publishing. So it's a very important matter. As you know, scientists today are only evaluated through their publication. And so the publishing system is the one which controls, in fact, all science. In particular, open research will never really take off unless there is a real publishing system which is itself open and which can reward it. But this is not at all the only reason why publishing should be open. Open publishing is not only a technical question. There are already thousands of tools on the internet that pile up and that allows for open publishing, but they don't change anything to the current system. What is missing is the reason, the incentives why open publishing could work at a global scale. So nothing has been found so far, but I would like to present you new ideas and the technical implementation to make it happen for real. So it is such a vast topic, and I have only 20 minutes. So really there will be a lot of holes in my presentation, and I really invite you to come and discuss further of it with me at lunch and all night long if you are interested enough. So I would like from the very start emphasize a very important and unique feature of the Self Journal of Science. It does acknowledge the fact that today scientists have no choice but to publish in impact factor journals. This is how science is funded today. This is how scientists get their money. And it looks like, it seems to be a terrible trap. And because of the specific logic of the Self-Journal of Science, is not only a principled solution, it is also a practical one. There is a plan, there is a strategy to free ourselves from this tyranny of the impact factor. And as you will see, this is a strategy that depends only on you, on us, scientists, and not on unfriendly stakeholders like Elsevier, for example. So I'm going to present as much as I can. So here is the website. So to understand the essence of what the Self-Journal of Science is, so this short reminder, what is science? So science is a very special activity in humankind. It is a way to produce knowledge which has very specific demands. It's made of two steps. First is research where whose goal is to produce a scientific thesis, and so to be deemed scientific, this thesis must fulfill strong constraints, which is to be clear, transparent, and falsifiable. So in other terms, it's based on well-defined statements that can be proven wrong. So for experiments, it implies that they should be reproducible. And the second step, which is equally important, is publication. Since there is a point into discussing theses because they are falsifiable, we are going to meet, the scientific community is going to gather and discuss and debate about it until a consensus is reached among the scientific community. And this consensus is what promotes the thesis to a scientific fact. And this is the essential process of peer review. The other part of the publication, the scientific publication, is to assess the importance of the thesis and to fit it in the broader scheme of scientific knowledge. This is the evaluation. So essentially, science has to be published in a scientific public place where scientists meet and talk to each other and debate. And the scientific public place must be public, obviously, open to all, community-wide, and people must have enough time to discuss and reach this consensus. And we don't know, before starting to debate, we don't know how much time it will take. So such this ideal scientific public place implies a technology. And this technology is readily available now. It is internet. So this public place would be a virtual public place. But the current scientific publishing system was born in paper technology. So there was an intermediate, journals, that were necessary at some point. And when impact factor became the main way science is evaluated, journals get all the power to control science, and now the publishing system is essentially a private process. So it is more a privatizing system than a publishing system today. And all our problems originate from it. So you know all of them, so I just go very quick. So the peer review is privatized. Only 2 people in a limited time produce some reports, so there is clearly a very low upper limit to the quality of the science that can be done by this. They have to be anonymous, so there is all kind of bias. They can afford to be careless or incompetent. Bias, you can think about the personal relationships between authors and anonymous referees. Bias with gender, women will be likely more penalized than men. Nationality, the fame of the lab, so on. The system of peer review is also very inefficient. Think of a bad article that undergo a lot of submission and rejection. It will take a lot of time to many reviewers to no avail. They will just do to no avail the same job, the same work from scratch. So evaluation is also private. It is just a consequence of the decision of one person, the editor, that decides to publish your article in his journal. So such a low number of people controlling science is obviously very, very bad. It shrinks. So you have basic social mechanism why a low number of people tend to protect the current paradigm and prevent change in science. So human biases are emphasized, like clientelism, and I mean it in a general sense. Like it will be very besides friends, editors will be more likely to edit somebody they have already edited. So that make things very hard for outsiders, such as newcomers, such as PhD students, for example. And all these evaluators, so editors, compete with each other. And for example, now some aspects of science, like replication studies or negative results reports, they are completely forgotten. They are impossible to publish. Also, even though they are essential to science. And so the dissemination of science is also private. So it comes with exorbitant cost and lack of open access. And so this is where Elsevier, for example, and Springer, big companies, make things even worse. But all these problems would happen even if all science was owned by CNRS, by University of Harvard, or by American Physical Society, or by you or by me. Elsevier make only this. The problem is really one of organization, a systemic organization. So because it's private, it is also chaotic. For example, try to follow cancer research. It's impossible to compile everything that is published in cancer today. Okay, no time to elaborate on this. Okay, so all these points are consequences of the inherent privatization of the publishing process, and it can be solved by the logic of the scientific public place. But just having open process is not enough. There must be a reason why it would work, and I claim that such a logic can exist. So it would a logic where doing open things is the most rewarding things. A way where pressure is on collaboration. In the current system, it is your personal interest to be secretive, not to tell anything to everybody, because we compete for a slot in an impact factor journal. So, for example, the people who works on the same topic as you, this is really the last one you would talk to, because it could steal your ideas. It is possible to find a logic where the guy, your peer that works on the same topic as you, this is really the one you would want to talk to. So this is this is a logic I carefully thought about and implemented in SJS, and trying to shortly explain to you what is it. So the goal of SJS is to put back science under the collective responsibility of all scientists. And the first thing SJS is going to do is going to give back to all its users their full identity of scientist. And being a scientist means three things: being a researcher, being a reviewer, and being an evaluator. So today, 98% of us are only researchers, and our fate is to produce articles and try to convince the other 2% to publish them. And it leads to a really mad competition and mad organization. So in SJS, it will be different, because we will all have these three powers. The second point is that SJS, just as the current system is inherently private, SJS will be inherently collective. And the way it is done, it is achieved by removing all notion of authority in SJS. So so there is no authoritative binary decisions. Everything works through collective feedback and collective self-regulation. So there is no authority, no subset of the scientific community can impose anything on anyone. So you have horizontal relationship with all your peers. The third point, the third important point is that is my only assumption, is that scientists expect good science from other scientists. So here is the picture. You are an individual in the middle of the scientific community. You have the same means as others. You are a researcher, a reviewer, an evaluator. You have horizontal relationship. What you want, everybody wants good science, and you want recognition from you. You want recognition from your peers, but recognition is also something that you can give. So this creates a totally different social game than current system. And the winning strategy in this social game where people are equal and want recognition and can give their recognition, the winning strategy is to receive more. You must first give good science to others, and people will give you back even more good science. And it will create a virtuous circle where good scientific knowledge is constantly produced and rewards all those who participate to it in a good way. So this is this is really the underlying logic of SJS. So now let's have a look at the website and how it works practically. So you see, so let's go to some articles. I don't know, this one, for example. So you can upload your article in a few minutes in SJS, and it creates something like this. So I think I hope you. Okay, so equation, figures, no problem. Okay. And so no, I forgot an important point on the home page. I would like to read the first lines presenting SJS. SJS is not an academic journal. SJS is an open repository that provides a free service of peer review, evaluation, and classification, all based on science ethics, through open and verifiable community-wide processes. You are welcome to use SJS for its inherent scientific merits, while having your works published in academic journals. So this is the first step of the plan I was talking about in my introduction, about how a transition is possible. Because it is completely open and only self-regulated, there is no editor, legally it is a repository. Science does happen on the website, but in a completely self-organized way. So legally this is a repository. And it is compatible with all the system. So scientists have no choice but to publish in impact factor journals, and with SJS they don't have to choose, because they can because the principle of the repository is mostly accepted by all journals, so you can just, before publishing, just deposit your preprint on SJS, and things will happen. So how is an article reviewed? So it will be, thanks to internet, it will be an improvement of the principle of the scientific conference. So how an article should be reviewed is we meet and we debate until we agree. This is what we do, and we can use internet to really improve the process, and and with a very special interface. So when you deposit your article, you upload your article to SJS, which is quick. The whole article becomes interactive, and you can very accurately annotate the article, make your remarks, make your comments, make your criticism, and they will be attached. They will be attached to the article, and the author may or may not reply, and the debate with other people joining, if it is interesting enough, the debate will start. So, of course, so unlike a conference, the whole world can fit in the room, and there is enough time for everybody. And those who are not comfortable with oral English have all the time to write their sentences and make their point. So it's much better. But you have to really also understand what difference is made by this interface. It really changes the nature of an article and of review. So I should give you at that point I should give you an example of a review. So, for example, this paragraph has been reviewed, commented by Konrad Itzen, who says something. And with that interface, reviews are the same. They are physically attached to the article. They have the same importance as the article, and they are as visible themselves as the article. Everybody that reads the article, of course, when you will see this blue thing just in front of a paragraph, you will read it. Everybody will be curious enough to see what the previous readers say about this. So reviews are part of the article, and it is very important, because peer review is what makes a random article a scientific article. So it's not something that should be done in a black room or in the editor's mailbox, and the editor says, okay, we have done it, trust us. It is really something that is part of the article. And so this is physically the case on SJS, and as a reviewer, you can be sure that you will have impact. What you write will be immediately seen by everybody and will trigger a short-term, a really short-term reaction, which is very pleasant, both for the author and for the reviewer. You have also to, so I will not elaborate on this, but you have also to understand the impact this way to review has on society. Everybody, so it is full open access, obviously, and everyone can see a debate between scientists in the system. So think, for example, about global warming. You can see actually people discussing, debate it. First they disagree and then they agree. And it is very important for, seeing this can really change the role of science in society. I don't have time to elaborate on this. I will.
Need a really short conclusion. I know that's.
So I have not started to talk about my plan to. So what I really want to say, but is because of this completely new social logic, we can build a new matrix of science, which is objective and unfalsifiable, through a community-wide, tricky curation system that I won't have time to present. So SGS will be able to provide a number which is very simple to use, to understand, and which has a great scientific significance. So this is one that can be an alternative and in a long term a replacement to impact factor and change the way science is evaluated. But obviously I should tell more about it, but stop it now.